of the US Masters at Augusta. A short time ago, he was at 7 under. And fast bowler Josh Hazlewood has pulled out of the Mumbai squad for this year's IPL to ensure he'll be well rested for Australia's Test tour of the Caribbean and the Ashes. And that's 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA forecast.
The Good Guys Superhero Laundry Blitz is on now, with front loaders from only $399.
Mostly sunny with a top of 21 today. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, 23. Sunday, much the same, 25. Partly cloudy for Monday and Tuesday, tops of 27 and 29. Then a possible shower Wednesday and partly cloudy Thursday with tops in the low 20s. Right now, just under 9 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
This is 5AA Breakfast, thanks to Jeep. When it comes to superior performance, luxury and attention to detail, the Jeep Grand Cherokee has it all.
Looks like a beautiful day. Good morning, everyone. 6:35, this is 5AA Breakfast. The findings into the Chloe Valentine case were handed down yesterday at 7 o'clock, or just after 7 o'clock. This morning, we'll be speaking with advertiser journalist Sean Fuster, who covered the inquest. And after the 7:30 news, Belinda Valentine, who is Chloe's grandmother, will also join us.
Now, the eyes of the world are on New Zealand a bit at the moment because, as we know, New Zealand was voted onto the UN Security Council, campaigning for independence and human rights. That ticket. Selwyn Manning is from one of our regulars from EveningReport.nz. Selwyn, good morning.
Good morning, Mike.
Now, here is an opportunity, with New Zealand being in the position it's in, to demonstrate whether it has an independent foreign policy. And, of course, we're talking about the International Criminal Court yesterday began lobbying diplomats for an investigation into ISIS crimes against humanity. Is New Zealand going to show that it has some, I'll say, balls in this case, that on an international scale, that it's prepared to do something?
If the career diplomats get their way, Mike, yes. But the challenges are here whether or not the politicians actually rule supreme on this one. There is a change of guard coming where there's been a political appointment. The former deputy leader of the National Party, the Nationals, of course, are in government over here in New Zealand. That individual, Jim McClay, was appointed to be the ambassador for New Zealand at the United Nations. Now, he finishes in May and is replaced by a senior career diplomat from our Foreign Affairs wing. Now, if they get their way, then there could be quite a change here. The challenge for New Zealand, of course, is, like you were alluded to there, the president of the International Criminal Court and its chief prosecutor. They're currently still in New York, and they're continuing to lobby, particularly those countries on the Security Council, New Zealand being most significant among them. Now, this all comes down to really New Zealand. It campaigned on that human rights ticket, that independent foreign policy. The problems, Mike, is that we haven't seen much evidence of New Zealand using its brand at the Security Council in the last 3-4 months since it came into that position.
So, on a much lighter note, and I think this is a fascinating story, that for a good while when Kiwis have been using their smartphones, in particular their Apple program with Siri, and dictating to it, that Siri just didn't get things right. So that's been sorted, especially when you're ordering your fish and chips.
Yeah, apparently I didn't quite understand what you were saying there, Jane. The accent was too thick for me. But no, it's an interesting one, isn't it? I mean, it is a frustrating thing being a Kiwi. You speak to these devices. I gave up on it. I just went to the old traditional ways of, using the keyboard or the pad on it. But yeah, you get it to order your fish and chips. I don't know what I sound like from your end, but it sounds absolutely okay to me. But these devices just don't know whether or not they're Arthur or Martha when they're talking to us. But when they come back, when these new devices, like on the iPhone and the Siri, when it speaks back to us, apparently it's been programmed to speak like a Kiwi. But I think that, to my ear, the South Australian accent is actually quite close to the Kiwi one.
Oh, give it a rest.
Actually, Selwyn, I'm with you, because I think ours is slightly not as nasally as, say, a Sydney accent, and I reckon just slightly a little more cultured in some ways.
No, I agree with you.
There you go. That's the Kiwi influence, perhaps,
Hey, Selwyn, but Siri failed when attempting to understand when asked for help. Now, how could Siri get this wrong? Fixing a deck. How could that possibly go wrong? What could that be mistaken for?
Look, I'm completely... I just can't answer that, Mike.
Fixing a deck. I've got...
Fixing a deck. I mean, I think
that's where it all goes pear-shaped. Just say it one more time, fixing a deck.
Fixing a deck. See, I think I'm mimicking you. It sounds exactly the same to my ear. No different at all. But no, the devices, it was not able to pick up that particular line that you were saying there. So, and the other thing is that clearly New Zealand Māori as a language, it's not.
Yeah.
It's a maybe at some stage in the future that will be something very cool.
But with your accent, Selwyn, you don't. I mean, it's just normal to you, isn't it? You don't. Even though people might have a go at you, you feel as though you're just talking regularly, don't you? Just normally.
I don't. Yeah, exactly, Mark. I don't pick up any difference at all. We had a Prime Minister years ago in the 1990s, Jim Bolger, and we always kind of laughed at him. No matter what country he visited, he picked up that basically not just the colloquialisms of that country, but also their accents. And it was a terrible thing. You'd go to Ireland, and next thing he was talking like an Irish person. You'd go to the United States, likewise. Go to Asia, and it was a cringe kind of situation. So hopefully I don't slip into that when I'm talking to you guys, and I just stay true to my ear. But I can't tell it.
We don't mind. Hey, Selwyn, thank you. Always a pleasure.
Okay, mate.
Have a great weekend. Selwyn Manning at 6:41 from EveningReport.nz. We just headed across the ditch to New Zealand. Let's head to the police meeting.